Okay, and we're back. We were talking about what stops you from manifesting things in your life, and we were talking about the monkey chatter going on, and we'll pick up there and continue on. Okay.
And on we go. uh,
I like the idea of the monkey chatter being, now you're calling it the ego,
mhm.
and it's telling you bad things. It's giving you fear. It's trying to bring you down and keep you bound to where you are. Okay. And that's an inner voice, but it's not your inner voice. It's that other inner voice that we all hear that tells us doom and gloom. Okay.
And if we don't know better, we think it's us.
True. Okay. Now, what is why do you think that we all have the monkey chatter thing going on with us? What is the purpose of it?
That's a really good question. um, A Course of Miracles talks about it. And A
Okay.
Course of Miracles explains that it is not our own personal voice. Um, I assume that, um, okay, like the opposite dual. How to explain this? It's like for positive, there's negative, there's an opposite of everything. And some people believe in like good and evil, and it's like this yin and yang, this balance thing going on. And so, according to the Course of Miracles, since we are God and we are all one, for there to be a learning situation, there's got to be both sides. There's push and pull, positive, negative. I heard it explained once scientifically why you have to have both. I don't remember what it was. I've slept since then, sorry. But something about scientifically there has to be both for there to be what we experience. And so it's like the yin and the yang and the hot and the cold and the good and the bad and, whatever. It's that opposite end that gives us this
Mm.
dual reality thing that we think we're living in. Um, and my own personal thought is, I guess it goes along with that. How do you know what's good if you don't know what's bad?
Mhm.
How do you experience peace if you don't know what lack of peace is? How do you really know anything unless you've experienced both sides? Um, and so I'm guessing that part of our experience on this planet that we have come to experience is that opposite thing going on, the two sides of everything type thing. And so if we didn't have the ego monkey chatter negative thing pulling on us, then maybe we wouldn't learn the other. I don't know. I haven't got a clue. But that's kind of what I've heard, what I gather. Um, and I know that in that movie, when he comes to realize that that voice that he's hearing is not himself, he steps into complete, total peace. And I know that when I can identify my ego monkey chatter mind and I can silence it, that's where I'm at. I'm at that complete peace that everything is okay and everything is abundance and everything is healthy and everything is right. And when you know that, then manifesting just happens automatically. The subconscious mind is somehow hooked to the ego monkey chatter thing. I don't understand the full spectrum of that, but to me it seems like it's got to be connected. Well, and maybe it's connected in that the subconscious mind has pretty much been programmed by either your own or someone else's. So yeah, I guess the subconscious mind in that respect is somewhat of a product of ego.
Okay, and what was the name of that movie again?
Revolver.
Okay.
One word, revolver.
Okay.
And I can't remember any of the actors' names right now.
That's okay. I just wanted to get the name of the movie again for anybody who might want to watch it.
Oh my God. Even the English version, the USA version, which is terrible compared to the UK version, but even the English version, if you know what the movie's about, is a fantastic movie.
Okay.
If you know what you're watching.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what the whole movie originally was about, was exposing the ego monkey chatter so that you would know there's two voices in your head and one of them is not you.
Okay. Well, that's cool.
Which was brilliant.
Yeah.
The person that actually wrote the movie is just freaking brilliant because they did a perfect job. And the ending, if you can go to, actually I think you can watch Revolver on YouTube, but it's the USA version. But I found on YouTube the ending of the UK version. I found little snippets in different places that kind of filled in what they had taken out. And the ending in the UK version is a perfect ending because the enemy, the man who made himself this guy's enemy, I don't know if I should, maybe I shouldn't.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't give it away for those who watch it.
The ending makes it so freaking clear how our ego messes with us, drives us to things that are not us choosing to do. They're just not.
Interesting.
It is.
And I could easily see where that would be a problem to manifesting if you have this monkey chatter ego going on constantly filling you with doom and gloom, and you need to get rid of all that in order to manifest the things you truly want. I mean, of course, with that going on, you can manifest your little heart's desire away, but it's not going to be anything you want. It's going to be all bad stuff, doom and gloom. And hopefully nobody wants that. So,
well, and like I said, until your subconscious mind is on board, you're pretty much screwed.
Right. And in one of our talks, we mentioned about controlling the subconscious, didn't we?
Yes.
And that's very important.
Yes. Well, and that's the reason why we have to reprogram the subconscious mind, is because I think it's been programmed by ego, either someone else's or your own or whatever. Unless you are blessed enough to have been raised in a family that understood about ego and knew how to separate it and knew how to properly program. And if that's the case, dear God, you're blessed.
Yeah, I don't think that probably is many of us, but
no,
there may be a few out there that are in that situation, but I think the majority are not.
And especially our age. Our age group was not raised with that kind of knowledge.
God, no. No.
We were subjected to the egos of people who just let ego run rampant.
Mm-hmm. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah. No, there's not. And if you don't understand that not every voice that speaks in your head is not you,
You know,
then you,
one thing, I've thought about this before, and I was actually talking to somebody about this before, about the voices in your head. And we were talking about knowing which ones are you and which ones are not you. And during that time, I can tell my voice, but the voice that seems to come out of nowhere. And it always makes me think. Like it comes out of nowhere and it never has anything good to say. It's always nonsense stuff, that normally I myself would not think of, and for a long time I knew it wasn't me, but I didn't know what it was, it's like, what is talking to me. And it took me a while I still didn't figure out what it was or who it was or whatever until just now when we were talking. But I always wondered who that was talking to me, trying to tell me all these bad things were going to happen and trying to persuade me, so to speak, to believe that I should do something in a situation that I knew wasn't something I even would want to do in this situation, you know? So that's good to know, because that little voice back there, and it always feels to me like it comes like out of the back of my head somewhere. It's not like up front here or anything. It's like back there and I can hear it. And I think we need to be aware of that and what it is, and don't give in to it. Just be like, that's not me. I'm not doing that. Don't want to do that. It's not productive. It's not going to get me where I want to be. And just silence it.
well, the place I heard about the movie and the way I got introduced to it was through A Course of Miracles studies. And again, A Course of Miracles is very much about learning all about the ego. But I have never seen anything so clear and understandable as the movie Revolver when it comes to ego. That just made it really clear to me that there were two voices up there, and one of them was not me. Because I didn't know it wasn't me. I thought it was me driving my own self insane, and I didn't understand why me would even think some of those things or say them to me, or you know what I mean? Why would I tell myself those kind of things? I couldn't even understand it, but I didn't realize we are not the ego. It's not us. That is not me. And like I said, the crescendo moment of the whole movie is when he's in the elevator and he realizes, and the voice starts telling him to do these terrible things, and he goes, I'm on to you. You're not me.
Yes.
It is a good movie. I wish I had the UK version, but even the USA version, once you realize that's what the movie's about, and especially if you get on YouTube and you start surfing the UK pieces that they took out, once you see some of those excerpts that they took out, you can kind of put it all together in your mind. It is very clear, and it was a brilliant movie. Kudos to the guy that wrote that, because he did an excellent job.
I'm going to have to look it up and watch it.
Again, I don't know if it's on Netflix or not. I think I saw it on YouTube. I think that's where I saw it.
Yeah. Okay.
But if you can get your hands on the UK version, it's well worth it. Actually, someone mailed me a burned copy of the UK version. And if I had had a current day desktop computer, I would have been able to watch it. But I didn't have the software programs that come with the newer computers, and so I had it in my hands and couldn't watch it because my laptop was a dinosaur. So I had it that close. I had it in my hands. And I couldn't even watch it. And I didn't know anybody with a modern day, an up-to-date computer that I could have gone and watched it on. So.
Well, the monkey chatter kind of goes along with all the negative aspects that creep up on us in life. And besides the monkey chatter, we have our own self-talk because, we can get down on ourselves with our self-talk. We got to watch that. And I know a lot of people are prone to say things like, oh, I'm so stupid, or, oh, I'm a wreck, or, whatever to their self. And you can't do that. Not if you want to be manifesting good things. You don't want to be saying, I am, and then something negative after your I am. So we need to watch that.
Self-talk is vital,
Yeah.
and unfortunately where we have learned it is from the ego, either someone else telling us how awful we are and we buy into it and believe it, or we hear it tell us that we're awful and we agree with it,
Right.
you know.
Well, when you have parents telling you how horrible you are and you're a small child, you might tend to believe them,
Yeah,
so right there is a big downfall of mankind. How mankind is raising their children. That's
yeah,
probably some area that definitely needs to evolve and
dear
grow.
God, yes. Negative stuff about me was all I ever heard growing up. I
Yes,
didn't hear anything positive.
yes. And I think that's the majority of children. I mean, even today when I listen to parents with their kids, God help them. That's all I think is, oh, God help you. It's like horrible.
Yes, because and see, I don't think they realize they're actually programming that human to believe that about themselves and to have to fight with that voice for the rest of its life.
Yep, yep. It's pathetic. And then we
And
also
even,
have our own emotions to deal with on top of the monkey chatter and talking, self-talk, being negative. Then you have your emotions to deal with because emotions are vital to manifesting. I mean, you
yeah,
can
they
say all
are.
the positive things in the world, but if you can't get those emotions up there on that same vibrational level, you're screwed. So,
That's right.
and
You have to feel it. You have to be living it.
that's hard to do too because you got to be. Many people aren't even aware of what emotion they're feeling at any given time. So you have to be aware of what you're feeling. You have to keep the thoughts in the right direction to keep the emotions in line because your thoughts actually produce the emotion. So if your thoughts are going awry, you can easily tell that by what you're feeling. So you need to keep that all in check and in line. And then it's just like if you could get each step down, step by step, and keep it there on a daily basis, you'll get there quick. But that's really hard to do.
I did not know for a long time that I could control my emotions, that they didn't have to control me. I didn't know that.
I don't think most
I
people
had,
know that.
yeah, I had no clue
Hmm.
that I was actually in control of my emotions.
You know who's a good teacher of that? Joyce Meyer.
Yes.
She does an awesome video or CD or whatever on emotions and how you are in control of your emotions. I saw that years
And
ago.
yeah, and the way you control them is exactly what you just said. It's by what you think. You can change your emotions by changing what you're thinking. But nobody raised me to know that.
No,
My God love
society
them. My
doesn't do that.
parents didn't know that.
No, society does not raise the offspring to higher levels of consciousness or anything. It's almost as if they don't know. That's the problem. It's not that they're purposely trying to keep each generation on the lowest levels that there are. They just don't know any better.
Yeah, no, they don't. And least anybody get confused. We are sisters. We just weren't raised by the same people.
Right.
Rose was raised by our mother. I was raised by a different family. So we are sisters, but when we talk about our parents being different people, it's because they were. So I just wanted to throw that in there. At least anybody goes, I thought they were sisters and they're talking about their own individual parents. What?
Yeah,
So we weren't
that's
raised
good you
together.
pointed that out because that didn't occur to me. We could be confusing some people.
Right. And we didn't even meet each other until 2008.
2008.
So that's a whole other story.
But it was so bizarre because when we did meet each other and we started getting to know each other, finding out how parallel our lives ran to one another was it was mind blowing. I couldn't even believe it. And even like naming our firstborn the same name, you know, and that's even more bizarre when you realize you had a boy and I had a girl, and we
But they
gave
have the
them the
same name.
same name. That's so bizarre.
I know. And so many similarities. We had been through so many of the same things. Just mind-boggling
hmm
how parallel our lives were.
Even in our studies, we studied the same things. We had the same interest. We were both headed the same place, and we were miles and miles apart.
I
It's
know.
mind blowing.
And I love how since we've met each other, we find out there are times we're really hitting on all four cylinders where we're saying the exact same thing at the exact same time and we're thinking the same thoughts and it's amazing
It
when
is.
all of that just and what's really odd is that you knew about me but I didn't know about you and I found you.
I know. That's absolutely amazing. You just stumbled
It
across
was.
us. I had given up. When mom passed, I gave up. I figured there was no way I was ever going to find you. And then you found
And see,
me.
I
So,
didn't even know you existed until shortly before you heard from me.
yeah.
I think I found out about you guys in fall, and was it around Christmas, I think, that I mailed the letter or that you got the letter or
Yep.
something like that.
Yep.
So I know that it didn't take me long. Once I found mom, and well, when I say I found her in an Amish obituary, and she wasn't Amish. I think
Yeah,
that's
that's so
interesting.
funny.
And I've never been able to find that site again. So I think that's so odd. But anyway, found her in an Amish obituary with all of her children listed. And I kept Googling the children's names, and I eventually discovered that they were ham radio operators. And through that ended up able to get addresses and two addresses. And one of the addresses that I wrote ended up getting me to you.
hmm
And I sent all that proof of who I was, and here you already knew about me.
Yeah.
I just knew none of y'all knew anything about me, and that I had to make proof. I was like, at our age, and I didn't know if y'all would even just throw the letter in the trash, or what would happen. I didn't know what to expect because I didn't know that you guys knew about me.
Yeah. Mom told
Surprise!
mom told me about you when I was like 12, 13.
I'm so glad she did.
Yep.
Because I'm sure that would have really been a surprise if you had known. Oh, by the way.
It was a big enough surprise just getting your letter. I like couldn't even sleep that night. I was like so excited that you had found us. I was like, "Oh my God."
Just a miracle. Well, it was meant to be. It was just destined to be. Because I didn't even know y'all existed till I found Mom's obituary and it said she had living children. I was like, what? What the hell happened? How is it she's got all these children? 5 more kids. That just blew my mind.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Mhm.
But just goes to show if something is meant to be, I guess it goes down to those contracts, those pre-life contracts that we make. You know, some people, you know, we come through a veil of forgetfulness, so I can't say that I know because I have documented proof, but I believe that we do make our plans for our life before we come here. I think when we come through the veil of forgetfulness that we can forget what we're here for. But I think that you and I had already made plans that we were going to be here in this lifetime together and find each other, because the odds of us finding each other were just slim to none and worse.
Yeah.
Seriously, there was no way we could find each other.
Yeah.
And
Well,
yet,
I was so close, so close, and then Mom passed before she signed the paper, and I was like, oh, she changed her mind at the last minute, the very last minute. I did all that work, all that research, and then at the very last minute, she changed her mind and didn't want to sign it, and I was like, ah.
bless your heart. And then, in reality, of course, hindsight is always real good, but in reality, you really didn't even have anything to worry about because it was going to fall in your lap.
Yeah. Well,
But there's no way we can know that at the time.
right. Well, after Mom passed, I gave up. I was like, I'm never going to find her now. And I just closed the book. You know, it's like, it's done. I can't find her now. And then you found us. So,
I was just going to say, and you didn't find me. I found
nope.
you.
Yeah.
And the timing was perfect in that I caught you just before that address would have not ever been able
I
to
know.
reach you.
Yep. You sent it to Mom and Dad's old address, which,
Yeah.
yep, Mom and Dad had passed. So, luckily,
And it would have,
it was still
had
in
I
the
not,
family at that point. So,
yeah, had I not sent it when I did, it never would have reached you.
nope.
And it's so funny because I had Googled Mom's name bazillion times. And at the time that I actually found Mom, I didn't even have a computer or a laptop. I had nothing, and that was before tablets. I didn't have anything. What I had was a little flip phone, the little kind that you flip open to talk, the old things, and had like a horrible wannabe internet connection type thing, where everything was on this teeny tiny screen on this little phone. And I had Googled her through that because one of my daughters messaged me in a text and said, "What did you say your mom died of?" And I messaged her back and said, "I never found her. How would I know if she died or not?" But because she said that, I thought, oh my God, I haven't Googled her for a while because I haven't had internet. I think I'll try it and see if I can Google her on the phone. And she was first thing up there.
Yeah, it was meant
And
to
so,
be.
yeah, it was. And, you know, I wasn't even struggling. I found her on that stupid little phone with that pretend internet stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And she was right there at the top. I mean, it's not like I even had to go through pages and pages. She was right there. And then when I found her in the obituary and saw all the siblings, you know, and I was writing down information like crazy. And, you know, I was wondering, who in the world is this man she's with and all these children? And oh my God, where are they now? But just those Googlings, I came up with all that information. Do you want to pause, or what do we want to do? You want me? Okay. Let me get that